See, here is the floor map of the original District 6 streets. Okay? And this building that we are in was a Methodist church.
Hey guys, good morning. Today is our last full day in Cape Town, so we're going to tour a few museums. Our first museum we're going to tour is called District 6, so let's go.
Here is the floor map of the original District 6 streets. Okay? And this building that we are in was a Methodist church. Many of the people who worship at this church were part of the District 6 community.
The homes in District 6 looked like this before they were demolished. And even though they do not look pretty on the outside, in the inside they were well taken care of because the residents that lived there took great care of their personal items and they took pride in where they lived in. Because this place was considered hazardous, they demolished most things.
There was a ballroom school, ballet school, there was a choir, there was even though there's no bank there, sewing classes, different sports codes had their meetings in the school rooms, and as I say, during the day it was a school. And up down the bottom we had a hall with a stage, we had concerts, and we had bioscope here, and at the top there was a gymnasium. And sadly, I often used to say, if only I could have picked up this building, taken it.
So this is an example of how their room looked like when they were living in District 6. They didn't have electricity, so they used lamps and candles. For cooking, these are some of the tools that they used here. They had a kettle, they had a Dutch stove because the Dutch came over and stopped over here for the spice trade. They didn't have any irons that you would plug in like we do now. So what they had were these really heavy things. They had two pieces of this, and one would sit to be warmed and they would use the other one to iron their clothes. Once it was no longer hot, they would switch it out to the other one that was on the warmer. This is their tool that they used to kill bugs like ants and little insects that they had. Our tour guide also talked about like how they had luggages.
My mom had, when I said we were poor, our best curtains, tablecloths, that kind of thing went into those suitcases. And that we only used at Christmas time and at Easter time. Okay? But the rest of the year we only used older things came in tins, and those things were the tins you could use for other uses. My mom used to have sewing stuff, buttons and needle and cotton, that kind of thing that she used to have in those tins. Yeah, and I'd just like to point out this calendar, 1949.
Wow.
Yeah, if I said we used to support our shops in District 6.
There were about 60,000 people who were evicted from their homes and they had to pack up and leave. And these are some examples of some luggages and some things that they took with them so they could bring it with them to their new home.
This is Richmond Street before, like a snapshot of how the city, like how the street was before things got demolished and people were forced out. And then after that, this is what it looked like, same street. Things got demolished and people were forced out. So going back to this picture here, our guide told us a story of how when she was a girl, she would be able to stay out until 10 o'clock at night because it was a sense of community and she felt safe. So it was everyone, watched over other kids and just lived in a more communal sense and a communal lifestyle. And that's something that she kind of cherished growing up. And then when people were forced out and time went on, that sense of community was kind of lost.
Because of the separation, they had to carry IDs with them. So the blacks, they had to carry this type of ID and they had to have it with them everywhere they go. If they wanted to go to work, they had to have this to show where they were going, to and from where they were going. To be reclassified, they had to go through a process. One of the examples that our tour guide mentioned was that there was like a pencil test. They put a pencil through that person's hair, and if it went straight down, they could be reclassified. But if that pencil didn't go straight down, they had to go to the other line and they wouldn't be reclassified. So here are some ID examples of the people who were reclassified.
These are the original street signs of District 6. So there was actually a guy that was supposed to be getting rid of them, or he was taking them down, and he actually was just keeping them at his house. And so he kept them, but it ended up being a great thing because now he can donate it to the museum, and it's a good piece of history.